What's up, guys? Welcome back to Collecting and Hobbies. Today, we're going to do a new action figure review with my new camera stand, tripod. Just took it out of the package and I'm already disappointed because if I put the phone where it's supposed to go right here, if I try to make it go up and down, it'll go up and down, but it'll only go a little bit of ways because, see, there's no leg in the front, so it just falls over. So I'm gonna have to get a new one. All right, guys. But anyway, just thought I'd say that in advance because this is going to be the most difficult review I've ever done in my life because I can't aim the camera in the right place. I can only aim it down a little bit if I hold it in a certain place, or I could go, really far up. But there's nothing up there. So I'm going to try. Here we go. All right. So the date code on this is 240 from last year. So that means 240th day, 2024. I'm not sure why these are taking that long to hit America. These came out probably, let's say probably November, December, no, probably October, November overseas well, anyway, latest, earliest, whatever. So here we go. Star Wars Black Series, Star Wars A New Hope. See, I already messed up. 09, Luke Skywalker. I actually spelled it right for once. Luke Skywalker. Here's the mural art. And it's a very nice picture. It is a very nice image. And I will edit this video simply because I do not want to I got a headache and I don't want to go looking up all these images and showing you what Mark Hamill really looks like on my other phones. So Luke Skywalker was a Tattooine Farmboy who rose from humble beginnings to become one of the greatest Jedi the galaxy has ever known. I like this one. I think this is German. And the galaxy Jisahan hat. He needs his hat. He needs his hat. He needs his rifle. He needs his, whatever you call it, the poncho. He feels a little light with accessories. He's got his binoculars and lightsaber. So let's pop him out. And here we go. There he is outside of his box, still in his plastic tray. And let's go ahead and get everything out. All right, so here's his accessories. He's got binoculars, detachable blade lightsaber, which almost came undone while I was trying to pull it out. And then he's got this little pack that goes on the back of his belt, because when he's on Tattooine, that is on him. But when he switches out to a stormtrooper belt, and then it's just not on him anymore. Or when I don't know, somewhere along the line in the movie, it actually disappears. So I was looking at this. You see the way it's attached. This piece right here. And when I was looking at them from certain angles, if you look at them from downwards, it kind of does look like Mark Hamill. But it looks more like the Empire Return of the Jedi Mark Hamill. Not really the New Hope Mark Hamill. So I don't know what they're going for exactly. Wow. So I don't know. Another thing I've always noticed is whenever I review a Luke Skywalker figure, it always seems like his right eye seems to be more upwards. I think they got the lower half of his face. I mean, they got his lips and his chin with a little bit of a cleft chin in there. They seem to have got that part right. Oh, so I'll put his foot down. I can show you his face a little bit better. So maybe from certain angles, it looks really good. But it just doesn't look. Part of the problem is his hair's covering up too much of his head, and you can't really tell if they even nailed the likeness or not. It's very. The younger Mark Hamill and the original Star Wars had more of an angle to his face, where his nose kind of was more kind of pointy. And let's see if they represent that on here. Kind of. But I mean, that looks a lot like one of the artwork, actual images that I've seen. But I will edit those in. Unfortunately, that will reduce the overall picture quality. If I do that, it'll reduce it down to 720 instead of full, high definition. But yeah, so it does get some good range of motion. And if you're wondering if I'm going to compare it to the other figures, I don't really have any other Lukes. Wait, I do. There's a couple of them. There's a couple of them I guess I can pull out real quick. But he's got a not soft goods. He's got a, what do you call this? An overlay. It's like a soft rubber overlay. It does make him look like he has a belly, though, which I don't like. But I see what they were going for. This is like a separate piece. This whole thing's a separate piece, and there's one side going over the other side. But the way it crunches up in the middle here and gaps, it makes him look like he has a beer belly. And I don't like that at all. He does have articulation here at the waist. Just feeling this right here, there's a lot of gap. So you can you can press it in quite a bit. I would actually prefer that they just do the sculpt as just a sculpt, no overlay, just straight up sculpt, kind of like the 1978, Kenner regular Luke Skywalker. They didn't have overlays. They just sculpted on the costume onto the mold, and they would have molded it white. And of course, if you do that, then you would have this part. You could still do that as a separate piece that plugs in, I guess, but they would probably just paint it. And we all know that when you paint skin color, it doesn't always match the rest. So he has actually a barbell inside there, so it's hollow. It's a hollow neck. And he does have butterfly joints. And they do seem to actually move. Unlike Leia's. See this one? I keep pushing it even more and more backwards. So it does go a little bit backwards. And wow, see that coming out? That's a lot there. That's what it's attached to. But they do that so he can, get into a double-handed pose with his lightsaber. This one seems to go a lot more. See, because you could very easily do that now. I don't know if the other. Well, I'm sure the other ones could. This is really their only second attempt on Mark Hamill's Farmboy, Skywalker, kind of. They did another one with the land speeder where he had a different head and it was more splayed out, like windswept, but it didn't look very good. He had a really pointy nose and it just looked terrible. But it's got a lot of articulation here. This is going to hinder, I'm sure of it, the articulation. Okay, he can only go out 45 degrees because, well, that's just the way he's made. But he doesn't have the thigh swivels either. So these joints, yeah, he doesn't really move out much at all. It's pretty much just straight up and that's it. But he can bend his knees 90 degrees. So what's your... Let's see. What I'm trying to say is the old Luke Skywalker, he wasn't bad from the waist down. This one's a little bit better because it's good from the neck down, sort of. But the old Luke Skywalker had all the joints. He's also... Does he have a boot cut? No, he doesn't. But he has swivel at the knee. I don't think he has boot cut. He might. Yeah, he does. Just, I was going to say, because that one looked a little crooked. So he does have swivel at the boot cut, but he also has swivel at the knees. And he can go forward a little bit and go back quite a bit. He's got the ankle pivot, forward-facing pin for ankle rocker. Let's see, he can go back about that much. And forward is the one we really want to see. Yeah, he could pretty much go all the way up. So that's pretty, yeah. So you can sit him down and you could still put this one in the land speeder. So he can pretty much go almost 90 degrees up. He can sit down. So that's a good thing. But then now you got this thing sticking out. If you heat it up, it'll go back in place. But so that is a bit of an issue, a little bit of one. You see how much, I don't know if you guys can, how much you can see that, but there's quite a bit of overlay. This thing's pretty baggy, and I don't like that. So if you're looking for a Black Series 6-inch scale Luke Skywalker, you got a couple of options. The original one or the older one, the one with the big poofy soft goods. The problem with that one is the soft goods. Okay, the head sculpt isn't much better either. It's not any better. But maybe the X-Wing Luke Skywalker, the original from 2013, which was designed in 2010 or 11 or 12 probably, before they actually put it out. I mean, that one's actually probably a better likeness overall. One thing that what they should do with this, if they're going to redo it, they did redo Leia. Like in 2016, people complained about her head sculpt, and they redid it. The main thing I would say to redo is the hair, because they always do this hair where it's flat. It looks like he's wearing a helmet or something almost, and it's always, I mean, it's down past his eyebrows. The thing that they never do is, just like on the picture, kind of, this isn't the best example, but the windswept hair. Get that hair out of his face and I'm going to put some other pictures in here while I edit the video to show what I mean. But Luke, his hair is feathered. It should be almost, you could almost put Han Solo's hair on here and he would look better. They do have slightly different haircuts. Mark's tends to get in his face, kind of like bangs or whatever, a little bit more, but they both have kind of a feathered hairstyle. So, yeah, he would look better with Han Solo's hair, probably. Okay, he also has I mean, we've already gone over this, but I didn't go over the hands. The hands have the up and down, and is it on both of them? Yeah, it's on both of them. So he has the up and down hinge on both hands. The binoculars can go right here because technically the only time he had the binoculars were when he was on Tattooine. So once he left Tattooine, he didn't have his binoculars. On the old one, they were part of the belt. I think they were sculpted on or hooked onto the belt. You could put his lightsaber and the binoculars on there at the same time. This one you can't. So there are a lot of disadvantages, but because like the old one had the thigh swivel, double jointed knees, had double elbows, bicep swivel, everything, because it was all covered up by the tunic, by the soft goods. So he had much superior articulation. Wow, that hole's really oh, okay. If you just put it on if you're putting on like a hook and push down, it goes on there. I don't see these staying on there though. At least not the way that I have it on. Yeah, if you turn them over, it feels very loose. And of course, this part goes in the back. There's a little slot on his belt right there. And again, this is a very loose fit. So even just articulating him is probably you might knock it off. You might want to glue it down. The saber is detachable from the hilt, but as any Black Series collector knows, it scares the crap out of people taking it apart a lot of times because of how thin that is. But you can get the saber, of course. This is his droid collar thing. Take off these, and it's pretty perfect shaped hook. There we go. Here's his lightsaber. Again, very loose fit. And yes, it fell off when I turned him over. So be aware of that. As far as him holding the saber, I'm sure he has a tight grip on both hands. There you go. Let's look at the saber just a little bit up close. It's very nicely sculpted. It looks just like Luke's. I mean, they've been doing this for years now, for a decade. And the paint looks good. Looks just like Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. Wait, and there's supposed to be like a red dot. Yeah, that's there. But it's hard to see. It's not as obvious as some of the older ones. Trying to zoom. But anyway, it's there. You're going to have to just trust me. Not on this side, but on this side. You can see the red dot. There it is. You got some gold All right. So let's see what he looks like holding the lightsaber. He has a trigger finger hand. Oh, and of course it can, swivel too. But so another thing, I'm gonna turn on the flashlight. Hopefully that'll help. Okay, the arm. It's not helping. Why isn't this not focusing? Okay, there we go. So if you look, see beyond the hand, you can actually see part of his arm. That arm moves too. See it move? So it's not just the hand, but the actual arm inside the sleeve moves too. And normally you would want like a vertical hinge, but in this case, I'm not. So, well, okay. Yeah, you can still get it into his hands. Trying to get him into a double handed pose. I've never said this before, but that was kind of difficult. It was for the first time I actually felt like maybe this should be horizontal instead of vertical, because then you can make his wrist go in and out and be a lot easier to do. All right, so overall, this figure looks it's a lot like the Princess Leia that I reviewed just recently. The new Leia that comes in this wave, where they took the soft goods away and they made the overlay. The overlay works a little better with Leia because she's a smaller figure and they made her smaller in size. But I think they did the same thing here with Luke, but things bunch up in a way that's accurate, because when he's sitting down and moving around, his tunic isn't like skin tight. But with Leia, I think it works a little bit better simply because they made her legs skinny and it makes a silhouette for Leia all the way down her legs. I don't really, I don't know. If the likeness here was better, I think everybody wouldn't be complaining very much. But that's just the way it is for now. So here he is, decked out with all his stuff. If I can, maybe I put him on upside down. It's a little better. I don't think they're supposed to go that way, but it's just easier to do because I've already got his hands in a certain position. This comes off in the vintage collection version, but yeah, this is not the easiest thing to do. I don't know why. It was easy the first time, but anyway, you can get him into some decent posing. He's not double jointed anywhere like the old one was, but the tunic for most people would probably make up for it because they probably should have done it this way to begin with, or maybe made a combination of soft goods and I don't know. They could have probably done it better. Maybe kind of like what they're doing with the new Anakin, but maybe not as like the new Anakin has soft goods in the torso up in here, and then it stops where his belt's at. But as far as the likeness, I'll show you a couple other Lukes real quick. Just push him back and push his back as far as you can backwards, and then you can get that on there. You can do all of it all at once. Okay, so believe it or not, these are the only two I have where I could get to him super quick. But you can see the difference between like the photoreal and look at the eyes on this one. Of course, this is Mark Hamill in his like 60s, I think. And here's the other one. Do they look like the same person? Yeah, a little bit. Of course, it's, I don't know. They just need to get this hair out of the way. That's one of the main things. Just need to get the hair out of the way. And this lightsaber's got a ton of chinks in it. It's kind of strange. Tons of scratches in it. Alright, guys. Well, that's it for now for Luke Skywalker. Not exactly a one and done. They're definitely going to have to revisit this character to get a to get it to be one and done. To get your ultimate version of Luke Skywalker. They really need to do this something different about at least the hair, at the very least. And it's just from certain angles, like downwards, maybe 82, 83 Luke right there. Kind of see it. But it doesn't look like 77 Luke. It basically, you could call this Luke Skywalker, but you can't really call it Mark Hamill. Maybe only from the bottom view. But that's my review of the new Luke Skywalker number 9 from A New Hope. And may the Force be with you. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. And I have plenty of other figures that I still need to review. I got about 6 of them in the last week. So see you on the next one.